Next we'll move on to Josh and the Big Wall, and the first Easter egg I could find was in the Song of the Cebu when Larry's going through the slides and he accidentally goes to the one at the airport. You can see a little stamp that has Bob and Junior on it, and also you can see Larry Boy's helmet and Larry's suitcase there. In the same song, there's the first appearance of Aunt Ruth, but she is cut off, which isn't an Easter egg, but if you get the letters, if you do like 1 for A, B for 2, 3 for C, 4 for D, you'll find a very special message. See if you can figure it out. If you want to figure it out, pause the video. Alright, I'm back. And if you haven't figured it out, it spells out Aunt Ruth lives. Later in the song, when there's a slide showing Bob and Larry at SeaWorld, you can see the peach there too. Here's a reference to the very first silly song. And the final Easter egg of the show is when Larry comes out on the countertop at the end. He's wearing the same pajamas he does in the Oh Santa silly song. Next we'll move on to Madame Blueberry. And the first Easter egg on the DVD is if you go to Features and you keep clicking your right arrow, you'll come onto a star and you click it. Then there's an Easter egg there.
That show actually had some of our first real inside jokes because they had to decorate, the Stuff Mart, kind of fill it all out, and so they put stuff in there, from other shows. And also when they got over to the little diner, there's a scene in the little diner. They put some hilarious stuff up on the walls. There was a poster they did, I think, from Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space, showing the Fib fighting Godzilla or something like that, and it's just on the wall behind them.
And the second Easter egg is if you go to Fun and you keep clicking your right arrow, you'll come onto the star. And if you click it, you get to watch the Easter egg.
Cheeseburger started out as a Larry song. I thought the original idea around that was, okay, well, what would happen if Larry got a crush on the girl at the drive-thru? So he's driving his car in, and he sort of falls in love with the girl at the drive-thru. And it started off, "You are my drive-thru girl." So that was the little piece of of lyric that I had in the sort of the hook for the melody. And the more I developed it, the less it seemed like Larry would sing that, and so I thought, okay, well, what other character would work here? And I'd always liked Mr. Lunt, and so I thought, wow, that would be really funny if Mr. Lunt, sang that. But then having Mr. Lunt sing "My Drive-Thru Girl," it just was kind of creepy, and so I just changed it to Cheeseburger, and it just got even goofier, and so. And then we went into this big rock opera thing, with it, and it just, kept getting goofier and goofier. And I remember going out and getting, a Meatloaf album and an Air Supply album, and modeling. Kurt and I talked about it, and we talked about modeling the songs, after a Meatloaf song and an Air Supply song.
In the love song with Mr. Lunt, his cheeseburger, you can see the same slushy cup from the previous show, Josh and the Big Wall. Later in the show, when Madame Blueberry goes into the Stuff Mart, you can see Buzzsaw Louie on the signs and the boxes from the Toilet Save Christmas. Also in the Stuff Mart, you can see the lovey asparagus and some other veggies on the posters. Also in the store Stuff Mart, you can see a bunny box from Rack Shack and Mint. Another Easter egg is you can see Jerry on the box, one of the boxes in the stuff mart. When Bob, Larry, and Madame Blueberry are in the diner, you can hear his cheeseburger playing in the background. And some cheeseburgers. See some cheeseburgers. Later in the diner, you can see a picture of the Fib from Outer Space battling Goliath from David and the Giant Pickle. And on the sign later, you can see a PG rating there, so it looks like a movie. And you can also see those things again. Right here is both a reference to Where's God When I'm Scared, because Daniel says that he had pizza with the lines, and it's the same as the pizza box in David and the Giant Pickle. Next we'll move on to Silly Sing Along to the End of Silliness. And the first Easter egg I could find was the penguin in the Yellow Veterinarian of the Alps is the same one that's in the Toy That Saved Christmas. Next we'll move on to Larry and the River Wheat. And the first Easter egg is you can see Naraki Road and Fisher Street, which is the names of the creators of Veggie Tales. The Milk Money Bandit is a reference to the story of Liberaloo from Are You My Neighbor, because he stole Larry's milk money in that show. Another Easter egg I found is when Larry Boy grabs the Milk Money Bandit, you can see Jimmy on a billboard. Here's a better view of the sign. Like in one of the scenes of Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space, you can hear I Can Be Your Friend in the background of the police car.
It's another space alien.
In the Bumbleberg grade school, you can see a couple posters in the background. One that says read and has Bob and Larry, and another one that says say no. It has the Fib from Outer Space on it. In the scene where Larry talks to the mayor, you can see a picture of Jerry. Later in the scene, you can see a little gold Larry Boy statue. And a picture of, I don't know what that is. Type in the comments what you think this picture is, because I have no idea. In the scene where Alfred tells the police officer that Larry Boy needs help, you can hear I Can Be Your Friend again in the background.
Oh, yes, officer, I need your help. Larry Boy is battling a giant weed in the sewer system. Ah, the robot!
In the scene where the citizens are surrounding Alfred because they think he's a robot, you can see Gord Jim on this apple, which was the same one that Larry wore in Very Silly Songs when he thought it was the very first exercise video. The only Easter egg I could find on King George and the Ducky was in this silly song, Endangered Love. There's a picture of the movie that Percy P saw in the Larry Boy in the Rumor Week. Next we'll move on to Esther, the girl who became queen. And the first Easter egg is that there are some posters on the wall in the town, and one of them is Reginald the camel that would be in the Jonah movie. Another poster is for King George and the Ducky. It says now on VHS. And then another one is of the giant air compressor from the Stuffed Martin Madame Blueberry. Another poster has some duckies on it from King George and the Ducky, and it's another poster that has the lion pizza from David and the Giant Pickle. This might be an Easter egg, I'm not sure, of some veggies color drawn.